Welcome to Raptor's Recon, and today's topic is should Carrie Fisher return for episode 9? Alright, so I'm going to get right into this. This article I found on Fox News by Julius Young, and the title is Todd Fisher talks about deaths of Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, wants Star Wars to continue sister's legacy. So without further ado, let's get started. Carrie Fisher and her mother, Debbie Reynolds, had illustrious careers filled with off-screen drama. The mother-daughter duo died shockingly within a day of each other. Fisher, from what medical examiners attributed to sleep apnea and other undetermined factors, and Reynolds of a stroke the next day. Todd Fisher, brother of Carrie and son of Debbie, lived his life in the shadow of the twosome. He opens up about it all in his newly released book, My Girls, A Lifetime with Carrie and Debbie. Fisher details his feelings when he saw his sister as Princess Leia on the big screen for the first time after her death. I went to a lot of events the day of The Last Jedi, and I finally got to an event where I actually watched the movie, and everything was going great right up until the point Carrie was in a coma, he told Fox News. It was startling to see her in the state that I had just seen her in a few months before, and for real. And you flash like, is this life imitating art or art imitating life? What is this that I'm looking at? It was remarkable that they had done that. He said it reminded him of what it had been like watching his movie star mother die on screen. I had to reflect back on a moment with my mom to get through that scene, and that was when my mother played Charlotte in Charlotte's Web, and I was a little boy. And when I saw her dying as the spider, I started crying. And she came and found me, and she got in my face and said, "It's only a movie. You've got to be able to separate. This is what I do. You've got to be able to separate." So I was looking at that scene, and I remembered that moment, and it stopped me from getting too emotional about it. But otherwise, it was pretty startling. Fisher doesn't know the fate of his sister's iconic character in the Star Wars franchise, but he's adamant that fans of the Double Bun Wonder want to see her likeness continue in future films. Well, Disney and Lucasfilms at this point, obviously they're in charge of what they do and what they want. Fisher stated, "I can tell you from the family's perspective, from the brother's perspective, I can tell you that her legacy needs to go on, and I think she should be brought into things." Fisher added, "We have the technology, Yoda came back. When Obi-Wan goes down in the first film, he comes back stronger than ever in the memories and the voices. I think that's Carrie's legacy. It's inseparable from the story. The idea of the original trio, I think, has to go on at least in those memories and echoes and the stories. But it's up to them. I can tell you, we would love to see Carrie go on, and I think fans would love to see Carrie go on." Fisher described his sister's relationship with their mother as trying at times. "Carrie always struggled with living in the shadow of Debbie Reynolds," Fisher said. "I never did. I loved being in the shadow of Debbie Reynolds. I mean, it was awesome. I just couldn't understand why she struggled with this." Fisher, an actor and filmmaker himself, praised his mother for raising them on her own. Eddie Fisher famously left Reynolds for actress Elizabeth Taylor and inspired his sister to write the 2001 cult film These Old Broads. "Every single mother knows what it's like holding the bag and the father being nowhere to pick up any of the slack," the 60-year-old said. "Debbie was left holding the bag, make no mistake about it. But you know what? She was into it. We were her life. She loved us. She cared for us. Everything she could do for us, she did." Fisher, 60, continued. "She took us to the set with her. Most kids I knew who were in my situation, they were left home with the nannies. Whenever possible, we were with her. She wanted to be with us. We were her greatest joy. The priority were always her children, even over her career. That is unusual today, especially." Fisher described how Reynolds' job as a high-profile actress affected his sister and ultimately led to their unsteady dynamic. "I bonded with my mother at a very young age," said Fisher. "She was my champion. Eventually I became her champion. We had this mutual respect and love for each other. Carrie loved her, but there was a competitive side that went on for a long time until Carrie came into her own, and when she became a great writer and other things. All of a sudden, she relaxed and was okay with the whole thing, but for years they were estranged partly because of that competition, he added. The unconventional bond between Fisher and Reynolds carried on until Reynolds' death, which Todd feels was a direct result of his sister's passing. That was another reason to write the book, so that they could understand and they could see how I feel. Many people felt comfortable when I came on and I said, no, she left to be with Carrie. They knew that I knew. So what do you guys think? I also read in a different article that basically not only her brother gave permission, but also Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billie Lourd, they gave Disney permission to use basically like recent footage for the finale, with the understanding that no CGI would be used to recreate her. That I found that on a different article. But anyway, what do you guys think? I know that I referenced bringing her back in my very first YouTube video. That was how to save Luke and Snoke in episode 9. And the way I handled it was tasteful as well. Like you're not really showing her, but you're hearing mostly her voice, and then seeing maybe a figure in the background or whatnot. That could be, any actress can do that, as far as like it was supposed to be kind of more of a silhouette and whatnot. But in the big picture of things, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want to see Princess Leia return for episode 9? I'm kind of torn on that because I don't want it to be like the I don't know. It's hard for me to have faith in what's going on right now, as far as I think they would handle Carrie Fisher probably better than they've handled the other actors in this movie series, but at the same time there's a little trepidation on that. So it's kind of hard for me to say I want her to come back wholeheartedly, but I think it would fit. It does fit. I mean, this is her story as much as it is Luke's, as much as it was Han and Chewie's, etc. So I think thematically, yes, but I think with her passing, that's a tough call. That's a tough one. But I leave it to her family. I mean, it's her family's wishes. If they really want to see her in this movie, then that all power to them. But I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think it? Do you give it a thumbs up? Are you in support of that? If so, how would you want to see it done? What kind of a role do you see her playing in episode 9? Give me a like, share this video if you like it, and hit subscribe. Anyway, look forward to seeing your comments.